Hello beautiful souls, and we're back again for another truth reading, and as you can see we've got a new setup. I decided to change it up a little bit, so here we are. You already know what this is about because it will be in the title, as I always say. I want to thank you all actually for being here. I want to thank you all for all your likes and your subscribes and your views and all your suggestions of what to look into. Now, I came to this reading, I wanted to clarify a few things about Russell Brand, because the last reading we did on Russell Brand was a little bit confusing because the situation was quite confusing. So I wanted to clarify a few things on Russell Brand. I was also asked to look at Trudeau. I don't need to tell any of you, I'm sure. It's the Canadian Prime Minister. I think you call him a Prime Minister, don't you? Not a President. I'm pretty sure you call him a Prime Minister too. And I wasn't really sure what you wanted me to look into, so I did kind of have a look around. And I do want to let all you Canadians know that what's been going on with Trudeau is not being shown in any news over here at all. I had to go and search out what's going on with Trudeau through truther information. There's nothing out here in the UK about Trudeau at all, which I don't think is very surprising, because obviously the mainstream media want to be keeping what's going on with him quiet, obviously. But so I did find out what's going on with Trudeau. I want to have a look at that. If you don't know, I shall go into that when we get there. But he's been linked, oddly enough, with a Ukrainian Canadian ex-SS Nazi. And it's odd that this came up because somebody else, thank you very much for all your lovely suggestions what to look into, asked me to look into what's going on in the Russia and Ukraine, and I thought, wow, this ties in so beautifully. So thank you for all your suggestions. So we're going to be looking at Trudeau, and we're going to be looking at the Russian and the Ukraine situation. Now, I've obviously got my understanding of what's going on anyway, but obviously we're going to be doing the cards. But I just want to clarify this thing with Russell Brand. Now, what we got last time was that the confusion was that when we were asking about Russell Brand, it was confusing because what I got was that he'd joined the Black Eye Club and he'd been taken over by, as you know, what happens with the Black Eye Club, a reptilian consciousness. And so when we were asking about Russell Brand, it was difficult to get an answer because we weren't being specific. Because obviously if the persona of Russell Brand has two consciousnesses, then it would be confusing as to, well, which do you mean? Because if one consciousness takes over at certain points and another consciousness takes over at other points, which was what I got was happening, who are you asking about? Now, what I wanted to clarify was, if I will try and remember to link the video. It's my previous Truther video when I looked into Russell Brand. It's the only other Russell Brand one that I've done. But yeah, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, just go along there. What I wanted to look at was, and now it said, the answer that I got was, did he want to become this guru figure? And I got the answer yes, but I also got the answer no. Now, we know obviously the reptilian consciousness wouldn't have wanted to do that, although this seemed to be right at the very beginning. We got that this whole thing was a black hat op that had been taken over by the white hats, this whole Russell Brand thing. So okay, let's stop there. I want to clarify if it was the Black Hat plan to set Russell Brand up as a guru figure. Let's have a look. Yes, it was. It was. It was the original Black Hat plan to set Russell Brand up as a fake guru figure. Yeah, I'm definitely getting that. It was definitely their plan, but was the reptilian consciousness, was that in on this as well? Was that in on this? Did that reptilian entity want to become the guru figure? Yeah, he thought it was very, very funny. He thought it was very, very funny to distract and confuse people even more. I think I know where this is going. I'm getting now that the original plan Russell Brand didn't want to take part in, as he didn't want to be the guru figure, but when it turned round and he realised that it would be a good thing, that he did want to do that, which indicates to me some kind of remorse in there. Yeah, so he'd been set all along to become this guru figure, which they all found highly amusing because of his obvious persona when he first started out. The drugs, the alcohol, the sex, the obvious addictions, that they thought it'd be really funny for him to become this guru figure. And as it was taken over by the White Hats, so Russell Brand didn't want to do that originally, but obviously he had no choice at this point. The reptilian consciousness did want to do this, but then when it was taken over by the White Hats, that he did want to do it. That's why we were getting so confused, because they both did and they both didn't at different times. I think that's all I really wanted to clarify about Russell Brand. Let me just do a quick spread on him, just generally, like where is he now type thing, because we know I got last time the reptilian entity has been removed and taken off. I just got 180. He's done a complete 180. Now, I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm not saying any of this, that what they said happened didn't happen. I'm sure no one was shocked when it came out. And I know he's done much, much worse. And I'm not saying that he wasn't a bad person when he joined the Black Eye Club. I'm not saying the alcohol and the drugs and the sex weren't him, as well as a reptilian entity. He would have had to get a certain level of fame before that entity was taken over his consciousness anyway. But he seems to really have turned towards the light, or at least be working on it. Now, I'm not saying that the guru stuff that he was giving was genuinely him. I've got that he's kind of retreated a little bit to work on this, which is quite nice to hear, isn't it? I don't know whether he's going to be getting any more retributions from the Black Hat. It's not saying here, but I really do hope it goes. I hope it goes well for him. I hope he finds that. I really, really do. Whether he will or not, I don't know. but he certainly seems to be heading in that direction. Right, let's have a look at Trudeau. Now, like I said, there's nothing of this in the British news. There's nothing. I had to go and search this information out. But apparently, Trudeau went... Oh, no, I don't know whether this is accurate or not. Let me know if I've got it slightly wrong. Trudeau went over to the Ukraine. He was accused of coming back with bucket loads of, I don't know how much cocaine, and I don't know how they put it, but basically it was a Ukrainian ex-SS Nazi war criminal. Now they've said a Ukrainian Canadian, so I'm presuming he's been over here for a long time, but they said they brought him on a plane, so I don't know what happened there. But anyway, they introduced him to Parliament, and Parliament gave him a standing ovation. Now, if you're not if you're not in Canada, you probably will have to go and look for that. If you're not getting that, I don't know whether you're getting that information in the US. We're not getting it over here at all, obviously. But then I don't watch the news religiously. I don't read the news, obviously. So, and they all gave him a standing ovation, and they mentioned someone else that was standing and clapping him as well. And I'm presuming it's the leader of the opposition that was also standing, giving this guy, introducing him to Parliament and giving him a standing ovation. And which is funny because I watched another video about someone commenting on it, and he said, I never heard this, but he said that Trudeau had called the truckers, do you remember the trucker protest? He'd called the truckers Nazis, which is hysterical, isn't it? And he brought up that Trudeau had been photographed doing the blackface as well, which is quite funny. There's loads of stuff out there about him. The first thing I saw was that he said he was resigning, but now he looks like he's not resigning. The other stuff, the SS guys, Nazis' daughters put photos of him in the Prime Minister's office, and all sorts of things going on there. Anyway, my understanding is that that's not been Trudeau for a long time, and you can see that because first it was the truckers thing, which, if you didn't know, the Simpsons did an episode about that years and years ago, where the truckers were doing something before any of this happened, before even COVID happened, and he was seen like scurrying out of a window and up a wall like a lizard. But as far as I'm aware, Trudeau was processed before the truckers thing, because when the truckers thing was going on, they'd got a couple of different actors and they looked quite different, and a lot of people were saying about the ears with the two different actors. And then there was the Macron thing, wasn't he? That he was having an affair with Macron. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with being gay, but it's, you know, it's a thing, isn't it? And then it's a thing that upsets people, isn't it? And then this, and the blackface as well. So they seem to be picking on Trudeau quite a lot, but I don't believe that's him. So let's get a general read. I'm absolutely 100% convinced that this is a white hat op. That's not Trudeau. Trudeau has... Okay, thank you. My guides have just said we want to have a look at what's actually happened to Trudeau. Let's start there. We're doing a full spread on this. Right, so there they are, in the best course of action. The white hats in there. There's no black hats in here at all. I'm not sure he actually has been processed. They've got him. White hats are in charge of all of this, but I'm not sure he's actually been processed. There's deals been offered, but there's still choices to be made here. I would wonder very much whether he's been asked to play along in his own kind of downfall, if you like, with a possibility of some kind of deal being struck and him not being processed. I don't think he's obviously he's not happy with any of this that's going on, but that may actually be him. But the stuff with the actors and the truckers, obviously that was a white hat thing, but it wasn't because he'd been taken and been processed. It was because, well, he'd been removed from that situation, obviously, and he's got no control over what happens. He either goes along with it or they put someone else in to play that role. But if he plays along, then they may come to a deal about it. It's absolutely a white hat op. It has been right since before the truckers. He's not been processed, but he is under white hat control. He either plays along with this or not. And obviously this is just to make the government, all governments, or expose all governments as corrupt and what they're really up to. And obviously Trudeau is a big one, because the trucker thing really did move the world, and I think that a lot of people kind of came out of hiding when the trucker thing happened, and it was really clear how barbaric and unfair they were treated to the whole world. And it was then, I think, that Trudeau was really thrust into the limelight in terms of the whole world. And I think he's a big player in this. As big as Biden. See, if there's anything else you want me to look at, then please ask about Trudeau. But it's absolutely a white hat op. As far as I can see, it's absolutely a white hat op. He's not been processed. He's in that process of making a deal. He either does what he's told, or they get an actor in to do it like they did with the truckers. But if he does do it, if he makes that choice, then he's got a possible opt-out. But same as Russell Brand, this, but worse. This is going to make, this is going to continue to spiral. Let's ask that question. Have they got anything else planned for Trudeau? Any more revelations? I get it depends how the Canadians respond to his call for resignation. I've just got that coming through. Let's pull some cards. I do get that he'll walk away at some point, but obviously they've just said to me they want to have their fun with him first. Obviously, the white hats are the ones that are cleaning up all the black hat mess, so it must be pretty horrific for them. So they must take joy when they get to expose this a little bit more and a little bit more, isn't it? I get that they don't want him out just yet. They want to have a bit more fun with him, if you like. Set up a few more situations to expose the corruption, etc, etc. But yeah, there he is walking away. He will walk away at some point. Utterly disgraced, they've just said to me. So have they got something else planned for him? I think so, yeah. It may be that they just even blow this up. And that's the reason, obviously. It's a little bit of justice in here. He's got to see all this crumble and be publicly disgraced. Which they're doing a pretty good job at, aren't they? I have to admit, they're doing a pretty good job at so far. But so thank you so much for that suggestion. I would not have found that if you had not asked me to look into that. And so Russia and Ukraine. Now, like I said, Ukraine's been indicated again, and it does seem to be quite a hotbed, doesn't it? My understanding is that Ukraine was, possibly still is, we'll have a look in a second, let's have a look at that now, an absolute hotbed for black hat activity. I mean really, really a hotbed for black hat activity. My understanding is that, oh yes, we've got to look at Putin, or Putin, haven't we, however you say it. It used to be called Putin, and now it's Putin. I don't know, I'll call him Putin because everybody seems to be calling him Putin these days. My understanding is the original Putin died of natural causes back when his wife left him, which was many, many, many years ago. And since then he's been, his image, the persona of Putin has been taken over alternately by the black hats and the white hats. It's been quite a struggle. That's why sometimes he was bad and sometimes he was kind of good. My understanding now is that the white hats are completely in charge of whoever that person is who's playing Putin. And this war is designed as a cover so that the Russian army, white hat army, or whoever it is that's in there, can go in and to the Ukraine and remove what needs to be removed. And that's why this war is happening. That's my understanding of the situation. And there we are. It's absolutely a white hat op. And what they're saying here is what I've just said is the truth. That was guided to me, that it was what was guided, that information that I've just given you was guided to me was the truth. It's a white hat op to, oh yeah, thank you, yes, there's one more point as well. Not only to clear the dumbs and close down the buildings, etc. And well, you know what I mean, the dumbs and the other black hat op buildings. I imagine there's bunkers in there where a lot of them have hidden out. But not only to remove those, but to use the system to expose the corruption there, because there's certainly been a lot of questions asked about how much money is being sent over there. I did notice something about that with Trudeau, and I also noticed something, there's a lot coming up recently in the UK about how much money is being sent to the Ukraine, and I know it's come up with Biden before as well. I'm not sure about Australia, I've not seen anything, or New Zealand, I've not seen anything in there. If there's something going on in the country you live in, please let me know. I'd love to know where you all come from, by the way. So that's what I understood. The cards are confirming that's the truth. This war is to uncover it's the good Putin and the Russian army, whatever, going in and removing, clearing the black hats. And I think they're doing quite a good job. Not judging anything, but what they're saying to me here is, oh, it's not going to be long now. They've pretty much sorted it out. I don't know if they're going to continue this the show, but they're pretty much done. It did take them longer than they thought it would though, but obviously it all links in so beautifully, doesn't it? So I want to thank your guides and my guides for all the guidance that they gave us then as well. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for joining me. I really did enjoy that. Thank you for your lovely comments. I really do appreciate it. I would not have known about Trudeau had you not asked me to look into him at all. It's not, like I said, it's not, that news is not being put out at all. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. I'm sending lots and lots of love and light to you all, and hope to see you in another video. Thank you. Bye.